Welcome to the show, Sharon and Sue. It's great to have you on board.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
So what inspiration and motivation do you lovely ladies have for us this morning?
Well, what a week we've had. You know, it's been a crazy week. I mean, it's a very different South Africa that we have now. And I think if we look back on the past week and we reflect on the incredible enthusiasm and the heroes that we've seen in our community, we have to take cognizance of how the human spirit really works. You know, we've watched people gather together at all hours of the morning and the night, and through the night we've seen women feeding them. We've seen people right up in the front line, so to speak, and we have to take our hats off to them. I have been in awe of the human spirit of this community. It's just been amazing. And when Mandy from Ballito TV said, you know, come along and let's see what we've got to say to these beautiful people in our community, I wanted to give a broader perspective. So I brought Sue Abernethy, who is a student on my academy, the MindFit Coaching Academy. And Sue is training to be a life coach. And I wanted her to come in to give a broader perspective of what she is sensing in the community, and myself as well. So, you know, we have got this little community going. We've got coaches that we are training at the moment, because we know once we've been through a time such as this, there's going to be a time where we can stop feeding people, we can stop patrolling, we're going to go back to normal life. And that's when everybody starts to say, what now? What do I do now? You know, my life feels so different. And we've been on high alert. It's been like an alarm clock. You know, when your alarm clock goes off in the morning, you're like, wow. You know, think about that kind of activity going on in your body all the time, 24/7. So we've been programmed to be alert, to be responsive. And now we've got to get all of those adrenal glands to calm down and get back to focus. Because I don't know about you, but I couldn't focus last week.
Oh, definitely.
You know, we were all sort of thinking, you know, what do we do next? When is the next call going to come? So Sue, I wanted to ask you, you know, at this stage of your life, why do you want to help people? Why do you want to become a life coach?
Sharon, gosh, I was involved in volunteer counselling in Knysna. We were there for quite a few years. And I was just so drawn to it. And from all walks of life, from the richest of the rich to the poorest of the poor, everybody has trauma. And so it's a calling, I think. And at this stage, I don't know, perhaps you're never too old, but it's really drawn me. And this last week, exactly as you say, people, it's been so traumatic, and I think everybody reacts differently. What really struck home for me was we went to have our second vaccine on Sunday, and it was chaos because I think they had 400 vaccinations and there were about 1,000 people waiting.
Wow.
And I think half the people don't want it, but they feel they have to have it. And then suddenly when it's taken away, because there might not be enough, there was chaos and people were angry and the voices were raised. And I just realized that it's impacting us all hugely. And what's that fight or flight?
Absolutely.
A syndrome, you know. So for us, it was quite traumatic. And then friends of ours had said, come for a braai. And we haven't been for ages. But I think just realizing to get ourselves out of that situation, to have fun, to relax, be with people who care about you. And I think that's one of the things I've learned is not to focus on the negative, you know.
Right, yes.
And to try and live our lives as best we can, but be there to help other people, which is what we want.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, you know, people are not going to say, you know, what did you do? They're going to ask, how did you make me feel? I mean, how are we feeling in this community? We feel protected, we feel safe, we feel secure, and we want to protect ourselves. It's right that we do that. So, you know, there's all the obvious benefits, and you know, life coaches, we like to look at the lessons. We've always got to see what's the lesson in this, and there are so many. You know, there's the obvious ones, the commitment, the perseverance, the generosity, the community spirit, but there's some less obvious ones, and I thought I would bring up one of those today so that people could have a look at that. We often in our lives overthink things, you know. We're either worried about the future or we're stressed about the past and we're in fear of things that might happen. But the more we focus on that, the more we worry about what might come. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be concerned and we shouldn't be cautious. Of course we must. But if we kind of marinate in that, you are going to hardwire those neural pathways, and then your thinking brain gets hijacked by your survival brain. And then you stay in survival. And when you are in survival, your flight and fight is really, really going crazy, and then you can't think clearly. And we want to be able to think clearly. So when we are needed, we are well designed to show up. We really are well designed to show up and say, here I am. So in the future, when you need to show up somewhere, just calm down a little bit, because you've seen what's happened in this last week. When somebody got the call, they didn't say, should I, shouldn't I? They're like, I'm there. What do you want me to do? Where do I need to go? And that's fine in that situation. But we can have that kind of access to that kind of wisdom even when we're not in flight or fight. If we are just in that state that says, what do I need to do next? What's the next step? Not about what has happened, not about always what might come into the future, but what do I need to do now, in this moment? And I released a video last week and it went viral because all I said was, are you okay? Can you ask yourself, in this moment, I'm okay? And you might even say the situation's not ideal for anyone, but right now, I am okay, because that's the truth. And the only reason you won't be okay is if you're thinking about what's going on or you're worried about what might come. And like I said, yes, we've got a plan, we've got to have all of these things in place, and our beautiful neighborhood watchers are going to help us to do that. But we need to be in the moment, because after all, when we're not in the moment right there, then we are not available to anybody. You've seen them on the patrols. I've been there helping, to feed them with my husband when he goes there, and they are so clear what they are there to do. They are showing up all the time. Can we do that for each other? Can we just heed that call? Every time you get nudged, can we just show up and do the next right thing that we need to do?
Wow, Sharon, that's very profound, and I hope everybody takes that advice. Thank you very much for that wisdom this morning. And thank you, Sue, as well, for joining us.
Thanks for
having me. It's been lovely having you.